And we're live. All right, welcome to episode 3 of the Get Peak podcast. Pretty exciting. We're having our first guests on. These are our two professional golfers who are actually creating their own mini tour now. So I'm pretty excited to have them on. We played 1 year together at University of the Pacific. This is Beau Forrest and Austin Fox. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Excited.
Yeah, gonna be a good time. Um, kind of wanted to start out by just telling a little bit about yourselves and where you're at in the golf world, kind of what sparked you playing golf, and we'll get into kind of the more of the tournament stuff a little bit later.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Austin. Get us
All righty.
started.
Well, my name's Austin Fox. Just turned 28. Been playing golf pretty much my whole life. As you guys know, we were teammates at University of Pacific. Played college golf all 4 years there with the boys. Had a great time. Been playing. Graduated in 2020 from there. Been playing professional golf since then. I've had status on PGA Tour Latin America and conditional status up in Canada. And been playing, a bunch of mini tours all over the country, and I've been grinding the last, I guess, 6 years now, and been doing that, been loving that, and just trying to find my way and onto the PGA Tour somehow.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Beau Forrest. I was there all 4 years with Austin. We both started in 2016. And then Alex, as you mentioned, that last year was your guys' freshman year, yours and Peter's freshman year. So 1 year with you guys. Let's see, I stayed amateur for about 3 years out of college, a little over 3 years. Played a lot of amateur tournaments, started playing some pro events as an amateur, but waited a little bit before turning pro to get a little bit more tournament experience. Now playing mostly mini tour stuff, doing some PGA Tour qualifiers like Austin, just trying to make it to the PGA Tour. That's the goal. So I've been pro for about just under 3 years now, and I've really been enjoying it. And as I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it later, it's had a good opportunity to see what pro golf is like at a little bit of every level, I think, for between Austin and I. And we're excited to start something new and try to make it better. So.
Sweet. Well, let's just get right into it, because this is a performance podcast, and we want to hear the highlights of your career and kind of the I guess the lulls in your career as well. So both of you guys played some great golf and got on. Beau, you played one PGA Tour event, and Austin, you played on the Corn Ferry Tour, right? You Monday qualified in the Corn Ferry Tour event.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about the mindset going into like a Monday qualifier like that, and kind of unfortunate that the PGA Tour is taking away some of those opportunities. But let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah. Go for it, Austin.
All right, perfect. Basically, as we all know, Monday qualifiers are do or die, right? So you're trying to go in there shooting the lowest score possible. And you really just got to be open-minded to anything and everything that can happen. You're just trying to make as many birdies as possible. You're trying to attack without really trying to force anything. I will say, when I Monday qualified into the Corn Ferry event, I just came from PGA Tour Canada Q School in Florida, and I played horrible, absolutely horrible. I finished like almost dead last. I'm like, what is going on with my golf game? I was like, I got no idea what I'm doing. At this time, I still had, I had my status. I'm down in Latin America, so what we were doing. I was in Florida playing for the the Q school, played horrible, and then there was a Monday qualifier in Alexandria, Louisiana. So middle of nowhere, Louisiana. Flew out there, hanging out with some of the buddies that were on the Latin tour as well. We're just trying to, playing these Monday qualifiers, and there's a mini tour event there as well. So really had no expectations going up into that tournament. And then I was having to be like the first tee time off and birdied the first couple holes, and then I was like, well, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, but
And then
that's kind of how pro golf is sometimes. Like
for sure.
everyone's like in these lulls and they're like, I don't even know where I'm going, what am I doing? And then all of a sudden, like you're like, I can play at a high level. Like all it takes is like you said, a couple birdies on the first couple holes, and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. It's just golf. Um, but yeah, you just kind of have to wait for that opportunity and just keep grinding. And I think that's like the biggest thing that I've taken away from playing professional golf is like it can change at any moment, and you just got to keep sticking with it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about was what is the transition like when you actually do qualify for one of those events? Is it pretty tough to keep it going? Like, what's kind of the mindset battle going into the actual tournament after you've Monday qualified?
Right. Well, I think for me, it was a little more difficult because I did have like that previous experience at Q school. So I'm like, all right, I just played really bad, and then all of a sudden I had this crazy. I shot 8 under 64 and qualified for it, and then I was like, all right, well, where'd that come from? I'm like, okay, I guess I can. It's in there. I can keep it going. Um, but the whole process between like when you qualify and you get like the phone number and you get an email with all the information, and then you're just trying to figure out like, okay, well, now I got to book a hotel for the week, I got to find a caddy, I got to do all this stuff. So your mind's going 100 different places all at once. um so I know when like did end up like qualifying, I was definitely not focused so much on the golf part of it. I was just trying to figure things out. Like I said, figure out where I'm going to stay, what hotel I'm going to be, who am I going to have a caddy for me, because I'm in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana. Um, but eventually, I mean, you show up on that tournament day and you show up to the event, they check you in, they kind of walk you through everything. They're super friendly. They're like, do you have a caddy? No. It's like, oh, perfect. We got, a couple guys waiting that are looking to help out. Perfect. They connect you, and they do a really good job of taking care of you. And then from there, you go straight into practice rounds. So it's nonstop. I mean, you go from qualifier straight into tournament mode. I mean, you're trying to grind and learn the golf course. Obviously, it's when they're having Corn Ferry events, it's at pretty nice courses. They're gonna have nice greens, fast greens, firm greens. So you got to learn to adjust off of that, and then yeah, I mean, basically, it's just go time. You just get thrown right into the gauntlet, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like the other thing that's kind of crazy about this, and this will kind of get into, you know, how you design tournaments as well, is like, um, it's interesting because you can play so well. You paid whatever X amount of dollars to be in the Monday qualifier, and then you basically are grinding to trying to figure out the golf course, and then you can have 2 bad days, and then you've just spent 6 days in a hotel and you haven't made a single dollar, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, you go from spending the $500 on the Monday qualifier and maybe a couple $100 on a hotel, and then next thing you know, you're there for a week, you're spending $2,000
Yeah. And then
because
you're like,
you gotta extend your hotel, you gotta get different flights, you gotta do all that bunch of stuff,
I don't think
and
a lot
then
of
not
people
even make
really
a cut,
realize.
and then yeah,
Yeah,
Pay the caddy.
exactly.
pay the
Pay the
caddy.
caddy, exactly.
You're like, hey, I got no money, but here you go. Here's like $500, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's really a crazy turnaround that I think is it's pretty impressive that guys like Patrick Reed have like basically gotten status based on just Monday qualifiers, which is just insane to me. Um, but yeah, I've always found that like those those Monday qualifier stories are awesome because I don't think people really realize how tough it is just to turn around from shooting 64 to learning a new golf course and then getting straight into um yeah, trying to compete over 4 days, hopefully. Right.
Right.
Would you
So
say that
Yeah.
like all the stuff that you did in between the qualifier into the tournament, like would you say it was hurtful that you couldn't focus on golf, or it was almost helpful that you had like other distractions that you maybe didn't have to think about all the, I guess, like important rounds coming up, you know?
That's a good question. I didn't really see it as like a bad thing. I think you're just excited to be there, and you're kind of in awe of like. I mean, you grow up, wanting to play on like these tours, right? And when you
Yeah.
really think about it, you're one step away from the PGA Tour at that level on the Corn Ferry. So it's like you get to that spot, and it's like, okay, like this is exactly like where I want to be. This is like what I want to be doing, right? And so going through like the motions and getting to experience that, it was definitely a positive experience. I don't think it really, hurt me. Um, I just don't think my golf game was in the best
Yeah, it
of
was
shape when
pretty.
I did qualify for that. So, um,
What
so
did you end
this
up
is kind of
shooting?
a good little spin-off too, is like
Uh,
where do you think what do you think you learned from that experience? Are there specific skills that you thought, hey, I got to get a lot better at this? Was it more of like I just got to get myself back there so that I have more reps? And was it like game plan strategy that where do you where what did you learn from kind of your experience out there?
that's a great question again. Really, I learned that if basically you need to get out there and get as many reps as possible. For sure. I think that's like a big thing. Obviously, having like a like status is so huge because it gives you like that set schedule. It gives you those reps. Um, but in terms of like, golf game wise, I mean, you play practice rounds with these guys that are, hitting it just as well as you, and you're hitting it just as well as them. And, you really don't see a big difference until you get into the tournament and, you either perform or you don't. Um, I think, the biggest part that I found was like the greens were like so much faster and so much quicker than like what I'm used to. And especially like going from like mini tours where you're playing, maybe not the nicest golf course and they're not the fastest greens or whatever. The conditions aren't as perfect to a Corn Ferry Tour event where the greens are running 12s, maybe even 12 and a halfs, and they're firm and they're fast. And, they put the pins on like these certain spots that are, if you're in a spot on the green, and I mean, it's super easy to three putt. So I would definitely say, from that was probably my biggest or the hardest thing is making that adjustment. And especially because, it's the pressure of it as well, learning to putt with that type of, because you're wanting to perform well, right? Because you want these results. You want to make the cut. You want to make some money. You want to do well. And you don't want to feel like you wasted the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of one of the things that stuck out to me is like I think in college too, we play on courses that are so much tougher, and sometimes you can go into qualifying and shoot some pretty good scores. Like even 5 days in a row of being in the 60s or whatever it is,
Hmm.
and then you go to a tournament where the greens are firmer, they're faster, the pins are tucked. Like it's almost a different game at that point. Um, I guess as you've played professional golf for this long, how do you manage that? Knowing which golf courses that okay, I can free it up and just kind of go after flags, and then on on championship style golf courses learning to basically accept par a little bit, and make birdies when you can.
Another great question.
We asked the hard hitting questions on here.
You do. It's good.
Beau's muted over there. He's like,
But was just
I got,
chilling.
I
Like
got some
I'm
stuff.
glad I'm
I
not
got some stuff.
answering.
I was like, take it away, Austin. I'll just chill over here.
Well, I guess Austin, while you're thinking of of your response to that question, I'll rewind a little bit because one thing that and obviously it's going to be a little different going forward because who knows what's going to happen with all the Monday qualifiers. But one thing that I found interesting, and I've talked to guys about this. Austin, I'm sure we've had this conversation. It's interesting that you see sometimes I think the Corn Ferry Mondays are actually more difficult than the PGA Tour Mondays because you have bigger fields. I think I don't know if I'd say the strength of fields are always stronger, but I feel like you get guys that are maybe just sharper at the Corn Ferry events, whereas a lot of the guys at the PGA Tour Mondays are maybe guys that have like past exemptions from previous wins or whatever. Maybe they don't play a whole lot anymore, but um, what's been interesting to me as I've played in them is that like you're never really as out of it as you think. I mean, until you're completely out of it, right? Like the one that I qualified through, I was 2 over par through my first 4 holes, ended up making it in. And normally, you'd think like, oh, I'm out of it, I'm done. And I think I missed another one by one. And I got into a playoff in another one, and it wasn't like crazy, like I had my best day ever. It's just I was like, um, had a solid day, maybe made some birdies coming down the stretch, and like all of a sudden you're right there. So I think that's something too that like when you're playing in a qualifier, like I know in the past, and I've seen you guys do it. I know I've done this in the past where it's like maybe you don't have the best front man or whatever. You're like, oh, I'm out of it. I just might as well just quit or or not care the rest around. And it's like,
Well,
dude, you never know
or
what's
you
going to
go into
happen.
like, hey, I'm gonna try and birdie every hole, sort of thing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's
You
like,
don't need to force it.
right.
Yeah, exactly. Cause if you play your game, you play smart. I just actually just had this happen, a few weeks ago at a pre-qualifier, just outside of Dallas. I got off to a terrible start. And obviously pre-qualifier is easier than a Monday qualifier, but I got off to like a terrible start. I was not playing good. Um, but I kind of just stuck in it and I ended up, I birdied, I think my last 3 holes to make it on the number. And so that was another good reminder for me. I'm like, man, like that is like, don't throw the towel in, right? Like, keep pushing at it and you don't need to force things, but like if you just keep playing your game and you play smart, like, a lot of times more often you think you'll finish strong. So
Yeah. Like, I had a similar thing happen to me at US Open sectionals, or at US Open locals, where it's like it was a really tough day out there. I hit the turn, and it's just like I'm 2 over par, or whatever it is, and I'm looking at the number keep going up and up and up,
yeah.
and it's one of those things where like if I just stuck to my game plan and just played every hole and instead of trying to bury every hole, like I probably would have made it. Uh, but it's so difficult to do that, and it honestly takes constant reminders and just learning from it to get past that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because I mean, I think we most of us have this idea of qualifiers where it's like, yeah, especially like a Monday qualifier or whatever it might be, where you think you have to just go crazy low, and sometimes you do. Like I've seen it happen where you do, right? But typically, it's going to be on easier courses where you can make like just stretches of birdies without you know like that much stuff happening, right? Like a lot of times when those scores are crazy low, it's like if you just play solid golf at that course, you're going to score really well. Um, but yeah, I think that that's been something that's probably been the biggest thing that I've learned shift in mindset that I've had is just like, yeah, you don't have to try to force anything in these qualifiers. And, there might be times where you have to get a little more aggressive, like maybe go for a par five that you maybe wouldn't normally go for because you got 2 holes left and you need an eagle or whatever it might be, right? There are situations, but in general, like you just don't have to force stuff like you think you do in the moment, you know?
Yeah, I think what Alex said with the constant reminders, it's like it's so easy to forget that, like
Mhm.
if you it's like practice. Like you have to have these reminders and you can get them from tons of different sources, I think. Like you can maybe listen to a podcast or listen to your coach or even talk to your buddies, that are golfers or different sports. And even this just helps you. Like me and Alex called, I don't know, a month ago and just talked about tournaments and like our performances and what went right, what went wrong. And just him talking to me gives me this perspective of, um, I don't know, like, oh, like he's really focusing on this mental game a lot more than I am. Like I should probably look into it more. And he recommended me some um guys that I should look into or listen to their stuff. Since that phone call, I've been kind of reminding myself of these um little, I guess, tips on how to think and how to be more disciplined or how to let go a little bit better. And it's just a huge part of, not just practicing golf, but or, golf and I guess all the physical stuff, but even this uh mental quotation marks, mental stuff.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
being able to reflect after a tournament is something that's so underrated. That doesn't really get talked about. Like going, oh, like looking at it non-judgmentally, like saying not like, oh, I hit it like garbage today, like I got no
Mhm.
chance at the next tournament or whatever, and just saying like, if I hit like maybe that shot a little bit better, or if I just stayed patient and like that might be something that like Austin said makes you bury the first couple holes, and then you got some momentum and you're off. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I think that's so valuable in doing that, both from a I found for me it's helpful obviously to help me understand where I need to get better or, even understanding your strengths, right? That can be super valuable too. Not just like where do I need to improve, but also like what are my strengths, right? And that reflection can be really helpful there. And I also think though that as golfers, right, we can understand that it's really easy to get down on yourself, right? Like if you don't play well, you just beat yourself up, you get upset, whatever it might be. But I think, Alex, like you're saying, like kind of, how would you say, like refraining from judging yourself or like going about it in that type of way, but and being more like I don't know if analytical is the right word, but kind of just like seeing it for what it is and being like, hey, this is where I lost some strokes, this is where I gained some strokes. Here's what I did well. Here's what I didn't do well. Here's how I fixed it. I found that has helped me to not just be so emotional about it and so down about it where like I can walk away from a tournament where maybe I didn't play my best, but I can still, you know, take some positives away rather than just beating myself up, right? And because if you're beating yourself up and you're trying to play pro golf and that's like you're just constantly beating yourself up and you're losing money and you're traveling all the time on the road and you got all these things, it's like it's just not going to be fun, right?
Yeah,
But if you can take
that'll
something
be a
positive from it, that helps.
that'll be a short mini tour career. That's like the recipe.
Exactly.
And you're gonna fight some
Yep.
demons after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. It's funny
Yeah.
because like I think from like old sports psychology, it almost hurt people because they feel like they have to be in this like fantasy land of like I have to be confident. I have to be like I have to be this different person when I'm outperforming. And then when they're
Mhm.
not that person or that persona does not work, then they're like that's when they go switch to I stink, I'm terrible, like
Mhm.
and I think like this new sports psych where it's kind of trending is like what is the reality? Like don't shy away from I'm hitting it all over the place or I just played bad. Like I guess it's just not being like judgmental, like using words like bad, like I just said, is not very good. It's like, hey, if I just hit a few more greens, then I'm gonna give myself some more opportunities. Um, And it just comes back to like, I think we talked about this in the first podcast, but like, what is reality? Like, don't give in to whatever your mind's telling you is like, I stink at this game sort of thing, or not optimistic.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one more thing on that. That I just had a tournament this week, California State Open, and didn't play very well the first day. I shot I think 3 over the first day, which it's at Bear Creek, tough golf course, so it's like that can happen, but it still was not a good round. And I finished double in the last hole. I hit in the fairway bunker, caught wedge a little heavy, came up short in the water. So just a kind of a bad way to finish. And and so that was one of those instances where it's like my first reaction was just to be like upset, you really get down on myself. Like, how could you hit that like that bad a shot, all that stuff. And but then, I tried to kind of shift it, kind of like you're talking about, where it's like, okay, like let's look at what actually happened. And it's like, okay, I caught it slightly heavy. Why did I catch it slightly heavy? I figured out why I did that. I know I have a particular tendency in those situations. And so I'm like, okay, I I know that. I know how to address that. I can do better next time. And then I think it was the second hole the next day. I had a long fairway bunker shot over like a forced carry over water, and I'm like, okay, like I know what I did wrong yesterday. I'm not going to let like any like emotions or anything from that affect me. And I went up, I made the adjustment, hit a good shot. And so that was like for me, that was really good. Um, like confirmation that like that is a better process, right? That's a better process than just beating myself up and getting all upset about it. And then probably as a result, that when I had that shot the next day, I wouldn't have been prepared to hit it. Right. So um,
Yeah, and
that was another good reminder.
like I think another thing that people say is like when they hit that shot on like the 18th hole, it's like, oh, I just can't find a way to finish the round, and really it's
Hmm.
just like it's just another hole. You're playing a 54 hole tournament, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it just that's just you're gonna hit bad shots over a 54 hole tournament, and you just have to look at it for what it is, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, it can be difficult though, when maybe you're trying to win a tournament or when you're playing bad to really stick to this good process because then the emotions are probably a little more intense. And so, again, I think it takes all these constant reminders, even throughout the rounds, even maybe you just talking with yourself and reminding yourself, okay, like no matter how I play, my goals are to, you know, be non-emotional, analyze every shot for what it is and take the good stuff from it, take the bad stuff from it, and then just move on, right? But um yeah, I don't know, like for example, my tournament last week, I wasn't playing great. I was outside of the cut line trying to fight back. And I started off well, or not well. Actually started off the second round not very well, but I came back. And I was like probably not going to make the cut, but still I was, having good processes and enjoying the round, trying to fight back. And then one hole, I just got really unlucky with the lie in the bunker. And I hit fairway bunker. I chunked it into a greenside bunker, which plugged. And I just made a mess made a mess of the hole, and then just completely like exploded with my emotions. Just like totally gave up, and I made another double like 2 holes later. And then I got done. I was just like, wow, like this was really unnecessary, like um yeah. But again, it was a good kind of a um I don't know experience now
I
that I
mean,
can
you
learn
think about
from, I
it.
guess.
Yeah, you think about it. Like you really hit two bad golf shots, let's say, and that's what's like threw you into a frenzy, right? Like it's like so easy to do that though. Like you say it now, you're like, I don't know what I was thinking. Like I should have just kept going and kept doing my thing. But like it's so easy to let the emotion take over. Especially I've seen it happen where like guys are playing great, just haven't made putts, and then there's this guy they're playing with that's hitting it all over the place and is like 4 under. And then, they they make one bogey, the other guy makes one bogey and like totally loses it, right? Like it's it's golf is a tricky game. But Beau, I wanted to get your perspective on playing your first tour event. Um, were there any guys that was there any like wow factor when you got through? Uh,
Wait. First of all, what did you shoot, Bo? Was it -7, -9? What was it?
-9 to -9,
Minus
yeah,
nine.
for 2
That's a good
rounds.
score.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, sadly, it was the only Stableford event of the whole season. You know, any other week, -9 would have been great. Not so much that week. But yeah, I think you know it was the Barracuda, which is no longer on the PGA Tour schedule, but it used to be opposite of the Open Championship. So uh, the field was pretty weak. You know, definitely knew some of the guys there, but it wasn't like a you know uh, one of those events that has a lot of I guess you could say like star power, like big name guys there. Um, which I don't know, like I don't know if that would have made too much of a difference for me, really. Like I think just it was more so the fact of just being there, playing at that level, that probably gave me the most nerves. Uh, but yeah, I think it was definitely a big adjustment. Like what Austin was talking about with speed of the greens, firmness of the greens, conditions of the course, all that. It was actually, I would say, in this instance, it's kind of funny. The greens are probably a little bit slower than at the course the Monday qualifier was at. I mean, that particular Monday qualifier, the greens were just like lightning, the fastest greens I ever played on. Um, and so, like in theory, like that adjustment for me that week at least shouldn't have been too much of a difference. Um, but so like the course setup wise, and this is gonna vary week by week, right? Depending on what you're used to, what you've been playing recently, and then that particular week on the tour, right? Like what that setup looks like. But for me, I don't think the course setup was that much different than what I had been used to, especially like I said, with the way they had the Monday qualifier set up. But um, just the environment for me was a big adjustment, and like in theory, like it's the course, like like it should have been, just like pretty much any other tournament. Well, not any other tournament, but a lot of other tournaments. But yeah, just the I guess you could say like the gravity of feeling like, man, I'm playing on the PGA Tour, like all these um things outside of the tournament or the golf itself. That's what I think made it difficult for me the first day. And I really, I didn't play well the first day. I think, as we mentioned earlier, it was Stableford. I think score, like I shot 79 or something like that. Like, not a good round at all, especially considering I had just played on Monday and played well to qualify. Um, the second day, though, I felt like I was more comfortable, right? I'm like, okay, I did that. That first round was tough. It was an adjustment, all that stuff. The second round kind of just felt like another tournament. I played some good golf, that second day, especially on the front nine. Didn't finish as well as I would have liked. It didn't really matter at that point because I was way outside the cut line. Um, but that second day felt more like just a regular tournament, and that was kind of an eye opener for me. Whereas like okay, this is like there's all this other stuff going on, right? There's all these other things. They do, set up the course um, difficult, right? Like, and conditions are always going to be firm and fast. So, and rough will frequently be long. So, like, it can penalize, you know, poor shots or bad strategy. But at the end of the day, I was like, this is just another tournament. It's not like it's some different world of golf. It can feel like that. It can look like that, but it really it's not. If you can kind of get past the fact like, oh, I'm playing on the PGA Tour, I'm playing on the Corn Ferry Tour, or there's these people watching or whatever. If you can get past that, ultimately it's just another tournament, right? And I think that, like Austin was saying earlier, that comes down to just getting reps out there, right? Because I don't think there would have been any way that I could have been prepared for that first day without just going and doing it. Because after that first day, that second day, I was already way better prepared just by having been there just that one previous day. So
I found an interview of you with some reporter, and I liked what you said there, which was, obviously going into the tournament, you're pretty nervous, and there's a new type of pressure and stuff. But obviously, you're big on your faith, and you said something where basically you had a prayer for yourself before the round, or maybe before the tournament started, and um, it really like stuck in my mind how that, I'm assuming, put a different perspective on it a little bit. That no matter what happens, that is the place where you're supposed to be, and all you can do is do your best. Um, if you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, like you said, Peter, I mean, my faith is what's most important to me in my life. And I think that I would say that I've always had, I've always been a Christian. I grew up, and I grew up going to church. That's always been a part of my life. But I would say until recently, I really haven't started to make my faith, my relationship with God a priority in my life. And of course, it's like I'm not, like, it was never the reason why I wanted to grow my faith was to become better at golf. That was never it. But, um, there is definitely like a freedom, I think that comes from just trusting in God and realizing that it's like golf's not what's most important in life, right? Um, and I don't remember exactly what I said in that interview, but I think it was kind of like what you're saying, Peter, where it's like I I basically just wanted to surrender the result, all of that stuff to the Lord, trust in Him, and ultimately it's not something that I have to worry about, you know. Um, the only thing that I really have to do is, you know, focus on giving it my best effort and doing it well, and all that other stuff. Like it's not the results. Whatever happens, kind of, it is ultimately like out of our control, right? I mean, we can control a lot of things with our practice, our preparation, all that stuff, but there is always going to be that aspect of things that are outside our control. So I think there's just a lot of freedom in that. I found a lot of freedom in that, and I enjoy golf a lot more now that I, um, prioritize my faith more, I guess, if that makes sense. And, and I think that, yeah, I'm able to enjoy it more. I'm able to, I think, play better. And it's not like something where it's like, okay, I'm going to be a Christian. I'm going to like be faithful because I want to play better golf. But there is, I think, yeah, like peace and joy that outflows from that faith, and that can reflect well on the golf course. So,
I also think like it's separating your identity from what you shoot.
yeah,
I think it's
exactly.
like so difficult for a lot of professional golfers to do because it's pretty much all that really goes on in your life at times, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
um, you know, for you, Bo, it's awesome that you prioritize your faith and you can carry that with you wherever you go. And that's that's part of your life. Whereas golf is, it's like it doesn't control who you are as a person, sort of thing,
Yeah.
which is an
Yeah.
easy trap to get into because as soon as you're playing bad golf, then you think you're a bad person, which is, you know, it is like pretty crazy to think about, but that's what golf can do to you sometimes. So
Absolutely, it can. It's crazy how it can do that to you, man. It'll get you, dude.
Yeah,
It'll get you.
I love what like Scotty Scheffler, obviously the best player now. He's also very open about his faith, and it's just it's almost, I don't want to say funny, but it's almost funny how at times it looks like he doesn't really care. There, all the reporters are asking him about the Grand Slam and winning the U.S. Open, and he's like, "Well, like I really want it, but at the same time, I'm gonna do my best to prepare, and then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But um, I still have to worry about what I'm gonna eat for dinner, and if I'm gonna play with my kids later. So um, it's just cool to see that, bigger perspective sometimes, that golf is not all that matters, I guess, in your life,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think also like seeing a guy like Scotty Scheffler get mad when he's playing poorly
Yeah.
shows that like everyone needs a reminder at times, like he's the best player
Oh,
in the
yeah.
world and he's still, struggling. Um, or I guess struggling for him, but um,
Yeah. It means he maybe finished like fifth that week if he's
yeah,
struggling.
right, right. But
With this D game.
but it shows like how important it is to separate your golf from from your identity, you know. And I think Scotty does the best job of that, and I think that's why he's world number one. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I really, I think, um, and it is such a difficult thing to do. I mean, I honestly don't know how I would be able to separate. Like, I guess I also work full time, and so that's another thing where it's like golf isn't my only like job that I got. I'd like it to be. That's kind of my goal. Um, but yeah, without my faith in Jesus, man, I don't know how I would separate really golf from my identity. Like, I don't think I would be able to. I really don't. And so that's certainly a blessing in my life. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about what you guys got going on. Um, you guys are creating a professional mini tour, essentially, a mini tour golf. Um, and just tell me about what you felt was something that the industry was missing, and how are you guys kind of filling it in that regards?
Yeah, so what our tour is called Pulse Golf League. It's basically going to be a match play centered mini tour. Obviously, the Dell match play on the PGA Tour went away. We felt that there wasn't really, a good place other than amateur golf for professionals to, test their skills in match play. I know I said this before to Beau, but like when I was thinking about it, I was watching tennis. I was watching Wimbledon, and I love watching like the head to head matchups and like the storylines and the one person's like a hero and here this guy's an underdog and this is this big battle. And I was like, golf has that, but it really only happens on like a Sunday afternoon. I mean, you go Thursday, everyone's kind of, grinding and doing their own thing. Seeing how it plays out. And then not until Sundays when all like the drama happens. And so I was thinking, like, why don't we just have head to head matchups so we get that drama constantly?
yeah,
And so, that's basically how it came about. And then, like I said, like there was really no match play events for professional golfers.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, to be honest. Like how important match play is, because like every shot is like or I mean, every match is like you're leading a tournament or going head to head in
Mm-hmm.
like Sunday afternoon, and how influential that could be for a mini tour golfer where they're grinding, and you don't really get those opportunities very often where you get a chance to close out a tournament, and it's similar to that in match play. So I never really thought about that. That's very cool. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, that was like a big part of it. It's like, how do we make it so guys can feel like they're competing to like win something? Obviously, when you're professional golf, if you're struggling, sometimes that battles with the cut line, and a lot of guys are just trying to make a cut. Um, but we wanted to create something where guys can go and compete against another person and get
Mhm.
that feeling and that adrenaline, that heart rate pumping through your pulse rising. That's why we call it Pulse Golf League. We want to,
Uh,
get those emotions and those feelings pumping through you.
yeah.
Love
yeah,
And I
I
think
love it even from the perspective of, growing up playing different sports. I've always enjoyed that you can play against someone else, even if it's
Mhm.
team sports or like you said, tennis. Tennis is a good example, I think, where
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes you don't have to have your best game, but maybe the person doesn't have their best game either, and it's a good battle. And until you lose, there's always a chance to win. So it's never like if you're 7 over through 16, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna make the cut, even if I all out all of my shots coming in. You know. But
Right.
in match play, it doesn't matter. Like you can always win, and
Exactly.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's something that I mean, the closer and closer we get to the tournament, the more and more excited I am about it because, I think there's it's it's not just for the players too, right? Because we'll talk more about this, I'm sure, but we are going to live stream it. We're going to try to get as much. We'll do the live stream. We'll do a lot of content. We're going to try to get as much stuff out there to try to just to garner interest for golf fans, right? Because not only is this something that's not um, offered much for players in pro golf, it's also not offered much for fans in pro golf. I mean, and outside of like YouTube golf, right? I mean, that's pretty much it. And YouTube golf is a big inspiration for a lot of things we're doing. But yeah, this is. I mean, you don't really get to watch professional match play. Um, it's just not a thing right now. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we're
even
sad about
even
that.
amateur golf, you have a few tournaments, right? Obviously, USM is the big one,
Hmm.
and then you have a few others, but it's not really that many.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
and then even like something like the USAM, right? Like they only really broadcast part of it, right? Like for you know for family and friends, just like being selfishly, like when you travel to go play a tournament and you're traveling all over the place, they want to show their support, and they can't really watch. They just see the score at
Yeah.
the end, you know,
Yeah.
which I
Exactly.
think is pretty cool, and it also prepares professional golfers for the next level when cameras are around and there are fans watching.
Yes.
Um, but then also from like a perspective of today, like getting to know the personalities of the people out on tour, you know, um, allows a player to market themselves and improve their business in that as well.
And that's a big thing we want to do too. I'm sure Austin will let's probably both talk about this because I know one of the things I'm excited about is before the tournament, we're going to start doing some player profiles and start telling those stories of the players before the tournament starts, right? And um, because yeah, I think for the player to be able to market themselves and for the fans to feel that connection to the player, right? I think that so often, and that the PGA Tour I think has been doing a better job and putting more time and effort into this, but outside of kind of the top you know 10, 20 guys maybe, maybe you see a name like for the casual golf fan, you see a guy playing well one week. You're like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know anything about him, and so it's like it's probably not that interesting to watch that player, right? Other than outside of hitting good shots, right? But if you know who that player is, that background, you either like or you don't like that player, right? There's emotions attached to that. You know what a win would mean for this person, whatever it might be. That I think that can bring a whole different level of engagement for the
yeah, and
fan
usually,
and opportunities for the player.
sorry,
Yeah. Go ahead.
usually these players that kind of pop up out of nowhere on the PGA Tour that you don't know who they are. Usually, they have the coolest stories. Like they
Yeah, exactly.
grinded through something crazy to get there, and then they're having the week of their life and win the tournament. It's like a massive deal for them. Whereas for obviously for the best players, it's a big deal also. But if Rory wins 26 tournaments or 27 tournaments, it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But for this guy, it could be a life changing week, and you don't even know who he is. And
Yeah.
I think it's something that really they're missing. So
Agreed.
it's
Absolutely.
I love
And that's why like we that dives into the match play part of it as well, right? Like because like I said earlier, it creates these storylines, these underdog storylines, or like the good versus evil, the good guy versus bad guy. it allows guys and players' personalities to come out more too. I feel like, just in the sense because when you're out there playing stroke play, I mean, you're just trying to be like in the moment, super even keel. But when you're in match play, I mean, you just want to beat the crap out of your opponent, right? And so like it gets those emotions going. And I'm sure you guys have played matches against your buddies at your home course all the time, and there's you make a bomb of a putt and you just throw a fist bump on them and you just scream in their face and you're like, let's go. And so
Yep.
it provides an opportunity for guys to express themselves a little bit more. And we're just hoping to capture that a little bit.
I mean,
I love that.
look how big the Ryder Cup is now, right? The last, 3
Yeah.
Ryder Cups?
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much the only event that's match play. And
Yeah.
I get
Pretty much, yeah.
it's the US against Europe and the best players, but like they just get the best out of their games and the best out of their emotions. And for me, it's probably my favorite tournament to watch because it's so exciting. Like
Yeah,
every putt
it's so
matters.
much more fun as a viewer to see them get like fired
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you see the fans engage way more, even like whether it's good or bad. Like I don't really care. It's
Yeah.
awesome that everybody's kind of into it. So yeah, great idea.
I think a specific match stands out to me. Talk about reacting emotionally. I remember we had Team Orange versus Team Black back in the day. I don't know. This might have been you guys might have been already gone, Beau and Austin, but I ended up playing. We're playing alternate shot. Me and Tyler Ward versus Peter and Matt, and I we were on Team Orange, and I showed up in just as a joke in plaid golf shorts, and remember that orange striped shirt that we had like back in the day?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Didn't match at
that
all.
means
Just to show
Orange
Coach
beat.
Cook that like these plaid shorts that we got are horrendous, right? I'd show up like that, and like it started off as a joke, like some friendly competition. And I remember like leaving that match, losing. I think we lost in like 17 at Brookside. And I don't know if I've ever been more pissed leaving the golf course than after that, losing to
It
Peter
was
and Matt.
intense.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, man. It just brings out all that stuff, man, those emotions and
it just shows you, and that's like
shenanigans.
it. Like I was
Yeah.
in plaid golf shorts. I was also wearing that
The
bright
beanie.
orange beanie that we had, like a traffic cone, and walking walking off that course pissed with a orange beanie on, like yeah, that
It's
like
good stuff right there.
that shaped my golf career as it is.
I love it.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
even I remember playing tons of match play here in Czech growing up. We had each year we had under 14, which I only played once, and then we had under 16, which was a mixed team with both girls and guys. So that was a lot of fun because alternate shot we played. If you got paired with a girl, you had to really strategize whether who's going to play because she played from the red tees, obviously, or the front tees, whatever that was. So that was great. And then we had under 18s and then like adult or amateur match play. And it was all team as well. I don't know if that's something you guys are looking into, but the team aspect is for me personally, it was a lot of fun as well because I love team sports and um it was in college I loved it and combining that team aspect with the match play, it was almost better because you're not just fighting for yourself, but you're fighting for your teammates. It
Yeah.
was, like a small Ryder Cup, basically. Like it was great, and we had this rivalry with this other team that we went back and forth basically for like 4 or 5 years, and either we won or they won the first place. So it was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
we're hoping that our Pulse Golf League is kind of lays the groundwork for that to expand into. I mean, obviously that's further down the road. We want to start off slow and get things going with what we're running, just head-to-head match play. But it can definitely, just like tennis, they got the doubles, you got mixed doubles. There's so many different avenues you can go and expand into. I mean, this can really be as big as we want it to be. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's definitely an opportunity down the road that we could possibly explore for sure.
Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, I think obviously, like Austin was saying, we're starting not starting slow, but we're starting focused on this. But I think that yeah, I like that idea of integrating some kind of team stuff. And you know, we depending on some of the logistics and the schedule and stuff, we're our goal is to do a multi event season. Uh, and some of those things are still, in the works, figuring out what we're going to do. But that would be, I think that'd be a cool idea to have some aspect of that. Maybe it's just one event, maybe it's multiple events, but that team aspect could add that excitement for the players and for the fans too, right? So I think that is it's a great idea. I like it.
So talk a little
Yeah, I
bit
think.
about
Sorry.
the tournament that you have coming up. Is that YOLO Flyers is
Hmm.
where it's at? Um,
Yep.
talk about kind of like some of the logistical things that are different that I think from like a money perspective and some hurdles that hopefully this Pulse Golf League will solve for a lot of mini tour players.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the main issues in professional golf, especially mini tour golf, is just how expensive tournaments are. I mean, that was a big pain point that we wanted to tackle, and so we're talking and we decided that, like, with this format, we're able to charge a much smaller entry fee, because how our tournament's going to work is there's going to be a 144 person qualifier, top 32 going to match play. So it's going to work pretty similar to, kind of like a Monday qualifier for Corn Ferry event, but we got 32 guys qualifying instead of 4 or 8 or whatever they do. So there's a lot more opportunities for guys to make that. And then once they do make the cut, then they get their entry fee back right away. Whether, like, if you lose that first match, I mean, you're getting a signed check for your entry fee and it's coming right back to your pocket. So you really only got to worry about, hotel, food, and travel.
That's pretty sweet because there are a lot of I've heard stories of guys making the cut and they make the cut on the number and they've almost thought about like not staying the next day to play because they're going to lose
Mm-hmm.
money either way,
Yeah,
right? Like,
Exactly.
exactly.
which is just nuts to me that you can make a cut in a professional golf tournament and like have basically no chance of making any money the next day.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just had that happen to me recently. I made the cut in Slovakia. I paid the entry fee, which is 300 euros, which is cheaper than the US, but then also the payouts are smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Made the cut, didn't play well the last round. I finished, I think, I don't know, 34th out of 40 people, somewhere around there. And I got 265 euros back. So I lost 35 euros, you
yeah,
know, when I made the cut.
While
It
having
was
to
kind
stay
of,
an extra day or 2 days,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
yeah,
And that's the nice thing about our format as well, is as you progress through the matches, you're not going to be losing money if you play bad that next round, right? Like
yeah,
you go up a tier and you're not going to go back down. So like the further you go, like there's that minimum amount of money that you're going to be making with each level you get to.
yeah, yeah. So each additional day you're staying, you're guaranteed to. Well, basically, I mean, essentially, your money's going to double each round you make it, right? So,
Each
um,
match, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Is it gonna be 36 holes a day or what's the deal?
So it'll be 18 hole qualifier. So that'll just be, the one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And then the first round of 32 is just going to be that 18 holes. And then it goes to the round of 16, and then the quarterfinals. And so we'll do that at 36 holes. And then we'll do the final or the semifinals and the finals on the same day as well. So you go 18,
Yeah.
18, 36, 36.
Yeah. So it ends
Okay.
up being 4 days total. Yeah.
4 days. Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So for our, we're charging $500 entry fee, and you have the potential to play. What is that? 6 rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5
6
rounds?
rounds. Yeah.
6 rounds?
7,
6. Yeah.
6. Oh.
So
Sweet. That'll be awesome. Do you guys have like any other scheduled, or is it just YOLO Flyers at the time?
So right now it's just YOLO Flyers. We're kind of running this as like our pilot event. So we're just testing the waters, seeing how things are going to be working. Down the road, we do want to push for like a full season. Ideally, we want to make it either expanded into like a 5 event season or even more. So that's the second season. And then we would integrate basically like a points thing that's similar to like the tennis rankings. So we kind of want to market it in the way like, if you're constantly doing well in the match play and you're winning points and you're winning matches, like we can market you, and there's a way to keep track of basically like your world ranking points, like, and then we can market you as like, oh, you're the best match player in the world or in the US
Yeah.
or in California or whatever it is,
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool if
So
eventually you guys could like make it some sort of status thing where like playing well and or being finishing on X amount in the money list gets you like full status on even like Dakota's tour or something like that, where like entry fees are paid for the year or something like that.
right.
Yeah. We're
And
definitely
we've
looking into those things.
yeah, we've talked about too is like, if you play like a certain amount of events during the season and you finish in like the top points and you're playing in like the points championship at the end of the year, like what's that grand prize? Maybe it's an entry into Q school, maybe it's like you said, pay all your Dakota's tour entry fees. There should be something that we're giving back and rewarding these guys with.
Because I
Yeah.
think like one of the biggest things that professional golf is missing is you can have a great year on the Asher Tour or the Dakotas Tour, and then you're stuck back at Q school going, I just have to play well for this,
Yeah. It doesn't get
month's
you
trip.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas like having some sort of stability would be pretty cool from a mini tour.
Yeah, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something that's like Austin is saying, that's a priority for us because we've had these discussions in the planning. We've talked a lot about this where it's like, yeah, there's essentially like you're saying, there's no upward mobility from the mini tours, right? I mean, you can make some money, right? Most people aren't. Like 98% of the guys in a given season on the mini tours are not making money. They're actually losing money, right? And that I mean, we all know that we've experienced it. And we can look at the money rankings, but even if you do make money on the year, like you said, then you're back at Q school. It doesn't even get you exempt through the pre-qualifying stage if you played great on the Astro Tour all year. It doesn't get you any status on PGA Tour America. Is nothing. So and that's something that we want to try to address is how can we make it at least easier, right? Even if we initially can't get any kind of status for a player like or exemption through a stage at Q school, how can we at least make it easier so that they have some kind of you know launching pad, right, going into that next
Yeah,
level.
or even just like Q school gets paid for by Pulse Golf League, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things we're thinking of doing right off the bat because we don't have to talk with the PGA Tour or get any agreements for that one, right? That we could just award that money to the top finisher.
Sure. Yeah,
That's
pretty,
cool.
pretty sick.
Speaking of Q School, one other thing really quick on the event. One of the things we're really excited about for the date of the tournament is that it is the week right before uh, PGA Tour Q School pre-qualifying is at YOLO Flyers. So it's literally same site, same golf course, less than I think it's 3 days after the tournament ends or 4 days after the tournament ends, the Q School begins. So it's a great preview event for guys that are traveling from out of the area.
Right, people are using.
So what's the actual date? I don't know if you said it or not.
September 8th through 11th.
8th through 11th.
Okay, gotcha.
Pete, you flying out for it?
I might fly out for it.
Come on out.
Yeah.
It's right next to the Sacramento airport.
Yeah.
Do I get a
That's right.
sponsor's exemption?
I think
We
we
might
can
be
work
able to
something
talk
out.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can come up with it.
Did I get my
Come up with
flight paid
$500
for?
Pete. So are you guys going to play in it, or are you guys just running it for the first couple?
probably just run it for the first couple.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, especially the first one. I mean, we definitely want to just make sure everything goes smoothly. Once we can, establish basically like a protocol and systems and put systems in place where it can kind of, run itself, or maybe we can hire someone to, run the tour and do something. Then we can kind of dive more into playing ourselves.
I imagine you both played the first one and you're both in the final. So,
Yeah, just
That'd
working
is
be
this
pretty
thing
funny.
rigged or what?
That would be fun.
That's funny. So have you guys? What are you guys gonna do from like a live scoring standpoint? I know we're kind of getting the weeds here, but one of the things that sucks as a club pro is using Golf Genius. It's the worst thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's really complex, and like when you're in even like something like our member guest, it's like kind of high stakes for us. It's like one of the only events that really matters, and we're having Golf Genius issues. Then it's like, like, is that something you guys are kind of thinking about going into this event?
For
Yeah.
sure, yeah. So we found an app. It's called Squabbit Golf. It's basically this guy's passion project. He created it for free. There's a bunch of different formats. You can host tournaments. You can host like leagues on it and everything. So we're going to be using that kind of as like our live scoring uh, platform, and it makes it super easy because you just send a link out to all the players' phones or send them through text message. They click on that link and it just takes them right to the scoring, and they can put it in, and then from there it goes to either the app or just on a website, and we'll have it connected through our website as well and through the live stream where it's going to get updated in real time.
And the nice thing about it too, right, is like you're saying with Golf Genius, it's complicated, it's hard to use, there's problems with it, and this is a lot simpler software, which works out great, right? Because we're not doing anything crazy with the format, right? We're not doing it's not like some kind of two gross one net or modified, you know, shamble or anything like that, right? It's just going to be stroke play for the qualifier, match play for the matches, right? So that makes it a better fit for us because it's a simpler software. We don't need anything complex from a scoring standpoint, and so it'll work really nicely.
I'm surprised, Beau, that you didn't make some fancy app with your computer skills.
We
We talked about it
down the
early.
road, yeah, we might do it, and depending on that's a little bit lower on the priority list for the first tournament, just because there's so many other logistics things that we're taking care of. But if we have a little extra time, I might do something. We'll see.
There we
Yeah,
go.
You could sell that too. That you can make.
I
I
know.
buy it as a club pro, man.
Yeah,
It's-
I've thought about it.
Yeah, Beau has
Yeah,
like 17 different projects going on right now.
yeah.
He's thinking about.
Yeah, that's the problem. But that one it's certainly near the top of the list because I think there is there is opportunity in that market there, right? Because I've seen firsthand, I've heard firsthand the struggles with Golf Genius, and it's yeah, it's a tough one. I know.
I mean, shoot,
So
people get fired off of it. Like people mess up Golf Genius, or Golf Genius messes up, and they're gone from being a head
Yeah,
pro. It's crazy.
It's
that
crazy
is
how
Beau,
much
crazy.
of like a market share they own of like club pros
Hmm.
and like or just like
It's literally
golf shops in
monopoly.
general. It's
I, I've
insane.
I've never seen anybody use anything else. It's crazy,
Yeah,
and
it
Yeah.
is. It's bizarre.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they have
how's
like a
the
contract where it's like they're forced into like having to use them or what, but
I don't think so. I literally think if someone just created something, shoot, I think knock it out of the park. So All
How's the
Beau,
live stream gonna look like?
I know you got a
What's the
meeting
what?
to get to, Beau. Don't you got a meeting?
But
to get
yeah,
to?
But yeah, I can be a couple minutes late if we want to. If we, Peter, were you asking about live stream?
yeah. How is that gonna look like? Are you guys gonna have some sort of a? Well, yeah. I don't
So
know.
basically, how we want to do it is for the round of 32, there's going to be 16 matches total, right? So the first day, there's going to be 8 cameras out there. It's going to be all like run through like live or smartphones, pretty much. That's going to be able to connect to, our broadcasting software on the back end there. And so we'll be able to get feeds from each of the phones, and we'll have a camera person kind of roving between like 2 groups on that first day. So they'll be in charge of trying to get as many shots as possible, trying to get putts. And, hopefully we'll be in constant communication with all of them, and we'll be updating them like through just like the live scoring. And we'd be like, okay, hey, this guy made birdie, or this guy's on a run. Let's go follow that group. This guy's about to win. He's 8 up through 7. Let's go see it.
8 up through 7. That's good.
Exactly.
That would be pretty impressive.
That would be impressive.
It's almost like it's not even possible.
Exactly.
Almost like that.
Almost.
I mean, it's kind of Pulse Golf League's doing stuff that's not even possible. I love it.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
We're making the impossible possible.
Yes. Yeah. All right, fellas. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
I'm pretty.
Anything
stoked.
else you guys want to add for the tournament?
I mean, I guess
Yeah,
just the
I think-
basic. We'll just do a recap of it, I guess. Pulse Golf League. We're Pulse Golf League. We're hosting a pilot event at Yellow Flyers Golf Club, September 8th through 11th. It's going to be a $500 entry fee. We're hoping to get 144 guys in the field. If we do get a full field of 144, the purse is going to be around, I believe, $54,000. Top 32 make the cut. If you lose that first match, you get your $500 entry fee right back. If you win it, you move up to $1,000, and then from there it keeps getting more and more. We're hoping to get $15,000 to the first place winner. And yeah, if you want to find out any more information, just go to pulsegolfleague.com and check us out, and you can sign up right on the page.
And we'll put
Yeah,
all the
and-
information in the comments or something. And
Yeah.
whoever is listening,
one-
this is your chance to be part of history, to be part of the first ever Bulls Golf League tournament.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right. And 2 other things too. As far as just logistics, week before PGA Tour Q School. So for guys playing the PGA Tour Q School, great preview event, and it also starts the day after the Sacramento State Fair, which is literally probably 15 minutes away. And so for guys that are out playing in that, you could just drive 15 minutes and play in the qualifier the next day and try to get in the match play. So that one for the pros, one for the AMs. We got coverage there.
Yeah. Yeah. You should talk to Coach Cook, see if he can get some guys to play in it.
Yeah, I've been talking with him about it, so we're gonna figure something out there.
Awesome.
Shout out Coach Cook.
Shout out
Yep.
Coach Cook.
That's right.
Look
There
at
you
those
go.
plaid
Pacific
shorts.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I'll let you guys get going. Thanks for coming on the Get Peaked podcast. Best of luck with all of your professional golf tournaments coming up, and then also just you guys running your first tournament. It's pretty cool to see how far you guys have come just over the years since I've met you guys. So I'm pretty hyped for you guys.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us
thanks
on.
for having us.
It was great talking with you guys, and
We
we'll do it
definitely
again.
want to have you guys back after the tournament to see how it went and talk about it.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, we'll do a little recap,
Yeah.
little
Perfect.
podcast recap. I like it.
I love it.
All right.
See you
Yeah.
guys.
All right. Thanks,
thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks.